What up, guys? I got a excellent play for us here. So this right here is IDEX. I've been playing this a lot, going up, and as you see, I have a lot of trend lines and a lot of shit going on here. Let's see. So I actually got rid of my trend line here. Let me try to clean this thing up real quick for us. We can go through some potential scenarios here. So this was my secondary trend line here. Actually, this was my primary trend line. This was my secondary trend line. So as you see, it double bottomed here, which would have been a beautiful buying opportunity, of course. And then we moved up to the resistance line here at 315. And I actually bought some here at 273. And right here. I bought some somewhere right around between this candle or this candle, so maybe it was 283. And I should not have sold, but I knew this resistance box here at 365 was long-term resistance, which was right here. So, well, this line I drew across and it ended up landing at 365. And, we got rejected there originally. So I sold at 365, 375, something like that. And then it fell down right here, it wicked down. And I thought for sure it was going to come back down. And it never did, so I kind of forgot about it. So I looked back and noticed that it was holding this 365 area. And I was like, wow, is this going to be a fake out or is this legit? And it ended up being legit, and I didn't catch this. So it came up here, and as long as I've known this thing, I always knew it as a pump and dump. Everyone always talked about it as a pump and dump, as you see, pump and dump, pump and dump. But it actually is holding some pretty solid fundamentals behind it, this company, and it's looking extremely strong. So there's a couple things that we should be cautious about, but overall, this thing is amazing. So I actually entered a long position, my damn self. I didn't catch this 471, 475. I actually entered at 497 when we got an hourly close today above this trend line here. Where is it? Well, maybe it's not going to show me there. But we got an hourly close somewhere above one of my trend lines. Well, maybe I'm a little late here to the party, but I don't... Oh, maybe it was here. I don't know. Either way. Okay, maybe I didn't enter at a good spot, but either way, I saw it above 5, and I told myself if it got above $5 that I would... You know why? It must have been something to do with this area. I don't know. Either way, for some reason I had it in my mind, even though I didn't look at the charts, that if it got an hourly close above $5, I'd go long. So apparently I was a little off, because I guess the place to go long would have potentially have been 473, but that's perfectly fine. I have so many stocks in my mind, I can't memorize every fucking location, but I do a pretty damn good job on doing it. So either way, I went long at 497, and normally, you don't buy these giant green breakouts, right? But the thing is when you're dealing with a situation where, number one, it breaks an old all-time high, or a resistance line here, or a resistance line that goes way back, that's a breakout trade. So, could it come back down? It 100% could come back down, and I actually feel like it's going to. So we got the first daily close ever above this trend line here of 471. It's never gotten above here and gotten a daily close. It's always wicked above and fell back, wicked above, fell back, wicked above, fell back, so on and so forth. So we're actually getting a daily close above this. Now, does that mean that we're going to blast right off? It could, potentially, but I feel like since we've ran up so much here, that we might actually have a consolidation that's going to reset everything. Now, this is possible that it keeps going up. I mean, you never know. So, if you look here, we have a red TD9 flash on the daily. I haven't checked the weekly, but there's nothing on the weekly. Obviously, a weekly close above this level will be even more bullish. Will we get that? Maybe. Who knows, right? So for now, us having this daily close above here is a very solid area. Now, this resistance box, I actually should have it up here. I don't know why it's where it was. So there's your resistance box there. So what you want from this is you want this resistance to turn into newfound support. So that's what we're waiting on. Now, this daily close is excellent, but without being able to hold this as support, obviously that's not a good thing. It looks like that supports, we have this support box around 473. So, are we going to get a pullback to 473 and show us that we can retest it? Maybe. I mean, you have some pretty strong support here at 486 if it decides to come there. For me, if it does come and it seems to be holding in this 476, 480 level, I'm going to be a buyer for sure. It still has room to go up a little bit for sure, because if you look at the hourly here, we've came all the way up into the 93 RSI range, and it's right now is only at 75. Now, as of right now, we do have potentially bearish divergence though, so that kind of coincides with the daily red TD9 flash. So I would expect us to have a little correction here, maybe to this 485 level, and we could come as low as 469, even with a small wick to 469, and buy back up here. But we really don't want to get an hourly close below this range, or this will be a fake out and we could potentially come back to this cloud support. But I don't believe that would be the case. But you never know. Really gonna have to see where this RSI is, because we want it to continue to bounce on this trend line here. But we're way above the cloud here. Let's see on the 4 hourly. We're way above this cloud, so we're nowhere near that. So we're not going to be really playing off of those, because we're talking a massive correction, and I don't believe it's going to hit that yet. So anyway, so on the 4 hourly, we just broke up enough to potentially say we don't have bearish divergence. It's hard to say if this would be considered bearish divergence here if we don't continue up. Excuse me. Because this peak way up here was this peak right here, and obviously it's showing we're lower than that peak there on the RSI. I'm not sure, and then same here with this peak. But, I kind of feel like that we could still continue. I mean, we could still continue up even with these TD9 flashes. I'm not going to keep that out of the realm of possibilities here. Am I more biased to it coming down because I want to buy more? That's very true. I could be. But at the same time, I'm trying to look here for my own self, because I do want to buy some dips and I want to see when there's going to be dips. So there's two scenarios here. We could actually consolidate here and reset the RSI, maybe retest this as support, or we could ignore the TD9 flash and continue higher, which in turn is going to create a harder fall when we do correct, and there would be a little less chance that we would actually hold this as support when the time comes. Because when you continue to ignore shit and you go way the fuck up, then the momentum that you get on the way up is strong, but the momentum that you get on the way down is so strong that it actually could cause us to fail. Now, as far as price targets, I'm gonna get into that real quick, and then I will be done. So let's see if I turn some of this cloud support off and this TD sequential off. So, we did just get a weekly cross today. Golden cross here. And tomorrow we're actually, well, actually, is that tomorrow? Either tomorrow or next week, we will get another golden cross here when the red crosses the green. So even with a little pullback, it's not going to be anything to fear, in my opinion. But, you know, in the weekly RSI here, it likes to get rejected up in this range, which is I have these two lines. So we're just touching this first line here of potential rejection, but I don't believe we're anywhere near doing that. And then this line up here is another potential rejection. So we still have ways to go on this in my opinion. So this breakout target here is going to be the size of this pattern here. And this is our breakout point right here. And that shows us $11.53. So $12. If we go off some fibs real quick, I can do a fib and then I can do a fib extension and then we can get out of here. So fib retracement would be from here to here, 530. So we can look at our support here based off the fibs. So obviously we have, did I get rid of my green box here? So as of right now, this is our fibs. But I don't actually know if I want to go off of that personally, because we did have this blue sky breakout potentially. So I kind of want to base it still off of this right here, because I don't want to just keep moving that. That's what the fib extensions are for. So this shows us that 477 is our retest potential line here of support. So we want to hold on here. Let me see if we do some. So I wouldn't be scared, or I wouldn't be worried if it comes back to 477. You just want to make sure that it's going to hold. Even if it wicks down to 469 and comes back in, that's perfectly fine, as long as you don't get an hourly close below it. So I mean, and I don't foresee this happening, to be honest. This is a lot of buying. This is a lot of volume. You know, we have a long way to go here. So let's get rid of this and let's do a fib extension, if I can figure this out. Here. Fib extension. Whoops. Shit. Fib extension, where you at? Right here. So with the fib extension, I think you go from here, but maybe you go from this breakout point. Wouldn't that make more sense? I think it would. No, because then you wouldn't have a place to go. So yeah, sorry, I don't use this often, but I'm excited to try it. Let's see if this makes any sense. So we're going to go from this swing low here to this swing high here, resistance box right here. Ah, there we go. Okay. All right. This is really cool. So now we get some fib extensions, which is going to show us some. This shows you resistance on the way up when you have blue sky breakouts here. So, you know, our first sign of resistance, which we didn't even touch yet, is going to be 569. Then you have 627, 674, 721, 788, 873. So, you know, and then above that is 1119, 1517, so on and so forth. And you could go all the way up to 2161, depending on how parabolic this thing wants to go. And it already seems like it's starting to do a little parabolic action here. So, I mean, I don't think it's, you know, for me, like I was saying earlier, there's two times that you can buy a big green candle like so. One time is when you break an old all-time high and you blast above that, and that is an excellent time to go long on something if it doesn't get rejected there and it actually holds it as support. Okay. And then second is a pattern breakout of a giant consolidation like so. So, you could have been loading here, and yes, you're going to be in massive profits if you were loading here and you had faith in the company, you start loading here. But is it potentially, safest to be loading like right here or right here? Potentially not when it comes to, longing something, because obviously if it's been rejected in those points for so long, then there's a very high potential that it could get rejected again, like it has in the past. Every time it's got rejected here, it's fucking dumped. And every time it got rejected here, it's fucking dumped. You know what I mean? And same with here, and it had a fake break there, and then it fucking dumps. So that's why sometimes if you don't get these confirmations here like you're getting here, it's a very scary thing, because it is known for this. But it's never actually had a daily close. You just see all these wicks, and it just wicks and then sold off, wicks and then sold off. This is the first time you actually get a candle close, which means, by that I mean the body actually closed above the trend line. So that's why it's so important, and that's why I'm going long here. So, I literally have watched this thing for weeks now, and like I said, I've played some of this action, but I always sold these resistances. So yes, I would have been in massive profits by now, but for me, I'm cutting my losses or lowering my risk by selling these resistances, even though I look back and go, fuck, I should have held it. But in reality, when you're swing trading like I do, you don't want to just hold through these resistance and pray and hope that it's going to continue up, because at any given point it can just go and just take a dump on itself, and then you're like, fuck, then you're buying this whole way down, averaging, you know what I mean? And then it comes back, now you're in good profits again, it gets rejected again, or you sell it because you don't know, then it goes up higher, then you're like, fuck, you know what I mean? I don't want to deal with any of that. Personally, I don't do that. That's why I swing trade. So, that being said, someone that swing trades, they enter right here. And like I said, I'm a little bit later than I should have entered at the 471, but that's all right. I'm still comfortable loading here. And then, I took a little nibble here, and I'm going to wait, let it consolidate. And if it comes to this level, I'm going to put another big buy on it and wait, and so on and so forth. And that's where you start getting into this no resistance above kind of deal. So anyway, guys, I'm sorry to rant, and I hope that any of this information does actually help. And, hit the like button if you enjoy this. Subscribe, share with your buddies, and let's fucking get this money. I hope everybody's in this shit. Comment below if you're in this, if you've been holding for a while, or you just entered today, or, tell me about it. I'd love to hear. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Peace.